What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy. Thank you for joining me. I do hope you're doing well. On the right-hand side of the screen, well, actually, no, not on the right-hand side of the screen because I'm using a different viewpoint this time around. Somewhere on the screen, you will see all of my socials. If you could give those a follow for me. Also, as well, I am on the podcast apps, so just search the Leeds Therapy on your favourite podcast apps, and I will be on there. So, today's video is me discussing our home game against Aston Villa, our 2-1 loss. If ever there was an advertisement for a game of two halves, that was it. What that showed for me is that we have the team that are capable of competing. We don't need them to be technically gifted or the whole team to be technically gifted. What we need is for them to be mean and ugly and in the opposition's faces pressing high, which is what we did in the first half, and it worked in our favour. I thought Rodon was sweeping up really, really well. He'd marshalled Watkins pretty much out of the game. Just some brilliant cover tackles, just was always aware of where he was. Bogle absolutely pocketed Buendia as well, to the point where he was just bitching at absolutely everything. McGinn just bitches because he's a bitch anyway, so that's fine, let him get on with it. But we did everything absolutely right. I thought Goodmanson was charging up the pitch really, really well. I thought Metcher was playing well in terms of holding the ball. I like what he does when he comes for a header. He doesn't make it obvious where he's coming from, and he just appears out of nowhere. So yeah, it was. I was in the cop end, and there was nerves. You could tell there were nerves, but everybody kind of got behind the team really, really well. We scored the goal, and we seemed pretty much on it for most of the first half. My thing was just let's just make sure that we don't concede dead quickly after scoring the goal. We nearly did, which was fun to say the least. But overall, first half, I thought we played really, really well. Then Villa make the substitutions, the two substitutions on half-time, and they have pretty much an instant impact. And yet again, in another situation, Ampadu has let a man run into the box, and meaning that Bogle's had to come all the way across to cover the near post and can't get there in time, and Rodgers scores the goal. That's 5 goals that we've scored in that way around, and it's that number of times that Ampadu's been involved with that. Then you've got Longstaff that was just losing the ball quite a lot. He did put in some good tackles. He was there, tracking back, doing quite well. So just the entire tempo just seemed to just drop off. We looked knackered, absolutely knackered in the second half. I can't put my foot on it why, but we just looked knackered. The substitutions, yet again, reactive rather than being proactive, so you can't really affect the game very much. The momentum needs to be studied, because first half the momentum was like 50-50. Second half, up until the point we went 2-0 down, there wasn't the momentum was all Villa. But that's, for whatever reason, it's this, we have a lead, we're going to sit back on it mentality, which makes no sense to me whatsoever at all. We're at home, the crowd's up, get on it. Just get on it. That's all I can say. Aronson was infuriating me because there was 4 or 5 occasions in the second half. First half, I will say, he did do good ball recoveries, etc., so on and so forth, all of that kind of stuff. But in the second half, he was doing too much with the ball when there was a simple pass on or there was a simple move on to play the ball. And the problem that we also had as well, there was so many times that Bogle was touching the touchline or stood on the touchline just wanting the ball, and it wasn't played out to him. And time and time again, we kept getting squeezed on the left-hand side. Okafor was fine. He is definitely the most or the best player that we have in the squad in terms of attacking-wise for the left-hand side of the pitch. But then we make the substitution where Tanaka comes off, and I know a lot of people are going, oh, that's Farke giving it a big FU to everybody. He's not. What I will say is that Tanaka getting booked early when he came on in the second half for Stack, he was probably one tackle away from getting a red card. So I kind of understand it. Doesn't look good, but I do kind of understand it. And I don't know who the fan was that came onto the pitch either. Ran down the touchline, completely free of anybody. It wasn't until he got to our dugout that anything actually happened to remonstrate with Farker, and somebody's season ticket is now going to be given to somebody else, it would appear. But it was getting sticky at that point. There was people were make a sub was ringing out because clearly something needed to change. So the substitution we made was bringing Dan James on and bringing Calvert-Lewin on. Calvert-Lewin was okay, but bringing him on kind of messed with us a little bit because he can be predictable in where he positions himself, which makes it an easier job for Conser to deal with rather than Metcha, who was causing all sorts of problems, because Metcha ran the channel a couple of times as well and did it really, really well. But it was weird because Dan James comes on, Aronson moved to the middle, so I assume we were playing 4-2-3-1, I think. But that was pointless, putting Aronson in the middle. You might as well just have brought Pirro on straight away and put Pirro in that position. For me, that's kind of where I'm at with that one. But Dan James comes on and makes an instant impact straight away because he gives Luca Digne something really, really difficult to deal with. Pace, directness. He nearly scores within the first 2 minutes of him being on the pitch. And then the goal's ruled out when it comes off because it goes in off of Calvert-Lewin's hand. It's the law now, just to clear it up, the law now clearly states if it goes in off your hand, it's going to get chalked off regardless. It doesn't matter whether or not Martinez, palms it onto him. It comes up off of his chest, off of his belly, then hits his hand, then goes in the goal. So it was always going to get chalked off, so you can't be too overly annoyed at that, I suppose. It was funny, though, when it was trying to explain it, that none of the speakers were working within the ground, so that was hilarious. The second goal that Villa scored, so I'm flip-flopping a little bit, but the second goal that Villa scored, there's not a lot that Perry can do, because the free kick is really, really good, because it goes over the top of Rodon's head and just dies. And by the time anybody can see what's happened, it's in the back of the net. So it's a great free kick on that one. But I'm annoyed at the level of the, because I think the last two substitutions that were to come on were for Nonto and Pirro to come on for Aronson and Okafor. Okafor, I thought he had a decent enough game, but by then it's too late. That's all of a sudden the tempo gets up. It's not lost on me that Dan James is on the pitch, Nonto is on the pitch, and immediately we're playing better. It isn't lost on me at all. I think the thing that I'm more annoyed about than anything else is just Farker is too reactive and not proactive enough to go, right, we've given them 60 minutes of Aronson. Let's give them half an hour of Dan James to give them something different to think about. Let's move Okafor into the number 10 role if we're going to go 4-2-3-1 and put Nonto on the left-hand side and work it that way. And just so we're a bit more, I don't know, that's 5. We've lost 5 in 6 now. And overall, we've conceded 20-some odd goals. There is something fundamentally wrong with our second half. So that's a whole team issue, player issue in terms of concentration. But it's also, for me, a management team issue now as well, because not being able to make any changes or not seeing that changes need to be made to try and just ease things up a little bit is costing us. When the momentum's that flat, you need to do something to change it. You've got to do something to change it. And I'm very, very much at the point now of something has to change. And I know people will say, well, Dyche was free, we could have gone and got him, or Nuno was free, we could have gone and got him. I understand the point that you're making, but there is enough money to go and throw at somebody to give it a go until the end of the season. Bo Svensson, go and get Bo Svensson. You could go and get him. He's what is he 1-1? He's odds-on favourite to replace if it should come about. I still maintain the squad that we have, the group of players that we have, whilst it isn't going to be pretty, they are good enough for 16th, 17th position. They are. From what I've seen so far, they are good enough. But I don't think the manager currently is the right one to take us forward. And I think they need to make a decision sooner rather than later. Why wait until the end of these next 3 games that we've got? Why wait? Genuinely, why wait? They could almost be a free hit for a new manager and then reassess the team in January when it comes to the January transfer window. It's tough because Farkeron is right to be able to have a go again in the Premier League with this team that got 100 points last season, won the league quite comfortably. But unfortunately, at this moment in time, we have an issue from a player's point of view. So this isn't just all on the manager, but we have an issue from the player's point of view, and we also have an issue with the management point of view in terms of we seem to be wedded to a system that's not quite right for the players that we've got. And it's not working because we are, on average, shipping 2 goals per game now. That's the average of what we're doing. So people can go, well, Perry's not good enough, but Darlow was doing exactly the same thing as well. So you've got to give them the best opportunity to be able to do better. And I just don't think Farke is the right person for that anymore. Just by... I kind of felt like he hid a little bit on the touchline. I didn't see him being angry enough or anything like that. Just when they were asking him to make a sub, and he kind of went into the dugout and sat in the dugout a little bit. And it's kind of like, we shouldn't have to be telling you to make these decisions, to make these choices. It isn't right that you can't see what we all can see is that the momentum in the second half has dropped off in so many games now, and you still not addressed it. You're waiting until the 70th minute to make substitutions. It doesn't give people enough time in some cases. We don't have the luxury of having quality players that we can bring on to make a change. If the board is serious, and I mean they're serious about staying in the Premier League, they need to make a decision. And it needs to happen sooner rather than later. Because I think the players need the injection of a new manager. I think the squad needs it. I think the club needs it at the same time as well. We just seem to be absolutely sleepwalking into relegation. We are where we are because we deserve to be, because we're not playing very well. Could we change it? Could we make some tweaks to change it to make it better? Yeah, we absolutely 100 million% could. But it's whether or not they're prepared to do it. Or do they wait until the end of this little next block of games and go, all right, we'll do it now. Remember what happened last time when it was too late before we did it. That's all that I'm going to say. Good first half, bad second half. We lose the game. We stay in the bottom 3. And unless things start to change, I don't see us getting out of that. And that's not like me to say something like that because we've got so many games left. But if that pattern that seems to be continuing every single game just keeps happening, then we're going to be where we're going to be. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Like I said, I hope you've enjoyed the video as best as you can do. Give me your comments in the comment section down below. If you've not subscribed, subscribe. Help get me to that 4,000. turn your notifications on. Make sure you follow on the podcast side of stuff as well. And yeah, I didn't mean for this video to be as long as this, but it is what it is. Take care of each other. Most importantly, take care of yourself. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.